3, 2, 1. What's up, George? What's going on in the House of Craze tonight?
In the House of Craze tonight, we have three incredible guests. They've been here on the show before, but we were missing one of that trio, and they're all here tonight. We're going to be talking to Calamity Comics in just a few minutes. We're also going to be talking about comic book conventions, and as a vendor, what are you expecting from a convention? So that's coming up in just a few minutes.
Great expectations. Let's get it.
We are the only show for independents all around, giving you a platform to spread your word all over town. Catch the Craze is the place to promote to your fans with the Dreamer, Medina, and Sam the Crazy Man. Subscribe to our show and never miss an episode. It's time to get your mans, listen to us on the go. Updated every week, we never miss a day. Join the squad, come on in. It's time to catch the Craze. If you are an independent, catch the Craze. Making moves on your own, catch the Craze. On your grind in the streets, catch the Craze. Join the movement, catch the Craze.
Yeah, George, we did it again. Come on now. You know you want to do it. Catch the Craze. To Catch the Craze podcast, I'm your host with the most, Crazy Man Vera, and I am with
George, the Dreamer Medina. What's happening, everyone? Welcome to another exciting episode of Catch the Craze. It is Tuesday, April 14th, and we are back for another episode with some more creators. We have Calamity Comics waiting in the wings. Elliott, Mondry. We have
On
Alicia
the
back
Wings
there,
of
and
Love.
we have Blair Schiff, who's back there. She's the editor of the book, so we're going to be talking to all three of them tonight. That's going to be exciting. Big shout out to End of Zed, who's been trying to get in since 3 minutes before we went live. Michael San Martino's in the house, and what up, Lou Pons? The usual suspects are in the house. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. If you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to the channel, hit like, comment, share it. Let everybody you know that we do this show for indies everywhere.
Word.
Yes, you did make it. Yes, you did make it, Anderson. So, Sam, it's been a couple of weeks. I've been
yeah, you've
out
been
of the
MIA,
loop.
bro.
Been out of the loop. So catch me up. What's been going on? Talk to me. Tell
Catch
me
me
what
up. What have I been up to? I've been
Catch me up
surviving.
or catch the craze.
I'm a survivor. Yeah, just I've been hustling every day. I'm hustling. Just been working, bro. We're working on wrapping up Cosmic Wars. I'm getting ready to ship that out next month. I've been working on this battle scene. Now, do you remember back in the days I did this big battle scene for Cosmic Wars, right? So I wanted to recreate the whole scene and add my style today to it. It's a beast of a job, an endeavor, right? Because it's all these little elements and all these. But I was having fun with that, and I really think everyone's going to be really, they're really going to enjoy this issue of Cosmic Wars, and then also,
real quick, because you were mentioning the big scene. I was texting with Anibal today earlier, and he was talking about he's working on his book. And so I asked him, I said, how long do you think it'll take you? Because he's got 12 pages to do, right? And he's like, well, the pencil and inking is it's easier. It's the coloring that takes
the coloring takes forever.
Right? Yeah. And so that was the one thing that even when I was doing like coloring for like the books, I hated doing it because it just takes so much time.
Yeah.
And you know what? Coloring can really mess up. It can enhance the artwork, or it can really damage what you've already done. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think the bigger the scene, the more layers there are, because I use a lot of layers because I use a lot of effects. Like when I'm doing a ground, like
brushes and stuff.
That ground, I add. I want it to look like if it's concrete, I want it to look like concrete. So I have different types of brushes, different palettes for those brushes to create shadow and light and all that stuff. So it's a process, and you wind up doing like a couple of hours and then walking away, and then coming back maybe the next morning and looking at it and say, okay, I see where let me add this, right? Then let me add that. And you constantly just like, it's funny because Alex Ross, he's a painter, right? And you see how long he takes him to do the things. I get it, right? I get it. When I look at Lou Pons and her process, right? Because she's very methodical. I get it because the more that you want to, the more you want the people who's reading the book to feel like they're in the world,
right.
And color allows you to do that, right? Line art doesn't allow you to do it, right? So it's just that's why I do all of my line art.
Yeah.
First, like I draw it and I move on, draw it, move on, draw it, move on. Then I go, I'm like,
come back.
Now it's work, right? Now I have to go page by page and color. So I have a lot of flatted pages, and then I go back because I'll drop in the flats. And I'm like, I'm good. And then I move on, drop in flats. I'm good. But now I have to go in and start adding all of the special effects, right?
Yeah.
And all of the tones and stuff and lighting. And it's sometimes it's frustrating. Cause I'm like, damn, I'm still at this. Cause you zoom in and you think like, all right, cool. And then when you zoom out, it's like, wait, I only did like 10% of the page, right? I'm like, oh no, I still got more to go. I was like, oh, say it so. But yeah, so working on that, promoting the return of the Duty Man, return of the Mac. So Duty's coming back this summer in the Duty Files, and it's going to be amazing. It's going to be fun. Just been promoting that. There's my boy and his sidekick Chihuahua Herman. So this one's going to be really, really fun. And when we get to 50 signups, we will have a cover reveal. And so I've been working that cover. I'm really proud of that cover. And I can't wait to show it. So we're at 28. So once we get to 50, we'll do a cover reveal, and we'll be launching in the summer after you do your thing. So it's going to be fun. Just taking the time off to get the books done and get it out to everybody.
Awesome, dude. Awesome. Are you doing any conventions, or are you going to be
nothing? My next convention will probably be Kowtow Comic Con in July. And then I'm doing the Denton Comic Art Expo in September. And I don't know anything else. I really wanted to take it easy this year and just focus on the drawing and writing of my books. So because right after Designated My Toilet issue number 8, I'll be following up with Cosmic Wars issue number 1, because this was issue 0. That's right. So so I'm just going to be busy. So I'm trying to limit the amount of time that takes me away from the art table.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get it.
Next year, I'm going to go beast mode, right? So next year is like, it's on like Donkey Kong. So, you indies, look out, because next year, 2027, Sam's coming for you, right? So if I'm going to have fun, I'm going to hit the market. I'm going to go out there and go crazy. But this year, I really just want to like build up that database and just, get my arsenal ready, build up my fan base, work on my website. I'm redoing my website, just get all my ducks in a row, get the operational stuff behind the scenes done. And to conventions take a lot of time away from that. So I'm really just leaning into that.
Yeah. No, I hear you, dude. I mean, talking about having enough books in the can so that when you do hit, whether it's stores, distribution, whatever, because that thing comes quick, especially if you're doing a monthly title.
Yeah.
Those books, you got to have them ready. As a matter of fact, tonight I'll be sending issue number 8 to the printers for next month. So, you got to think about, you need at least, 30 days or whatever to get these things. Probably usually 2 weeks is what it takes. But no. And as a matter of fact, tomorrow, Wednesday, issue number 7 of Wonder Duck hits stores. So if you haven't yet, go to your stores, your local comic book shops, tell them to order, The Adventures of Wonder Duck number 7. You can order all the books. They're open for, back orders if you guys need the older issues. So make sure your store hits up Filbo Distribution. Big shout out to Filbo Distribution. Filbo made a huge announcement.
I saw that, bro.
Yeah, he's gonna be printing on demand. So he's, I've talked to him, and his plan is to really be cost effective for us indies, because books are getting very, very expensive to print. And so he's going to try to offer the most cost-effective printing that we can possibly have, at least here in the States, because you can't compete with what they're doing, in overseas. But here in the States, he's trying to compete with that. If you're in the New York and the tri-state area, if you can, he can set up where you can pick up the books rather than having them to be shipped, which saves a lot of money. So, yeah. So big shout out to Philip Russert, Philbo POD, I think is what he's calling it. And so that's going to be launching. I believe he's aiming to have stuff ready to go this summer. So it's going to be a crazy summer.
Do you know what organization he partnered with for the print on demand?
It's his printer. He used his thing. It's him.
What, he put it in his garage? What is he doing?
It's him, bro. You know what? He's like a magician with that thing. I don't know. He's putting it on his roof. I have no idea what he's doing, but he's doing his thing. So, and I think part of why he's going to be able to keep that cost low is because he doesn't really have an overhead, right? Like he doesn't have a big staff that he has to pay and stuff like that. So
did you have to readjust your contract to do print on demand with his services?
So the final issue of my contract ends with the final issue of Wonder Duck, yeah, issue number 8. So if I do want to, obviously, if I do produce more books and I want to go through him, yeah, it'll be a new contract with him. But if you distribute through him, your printing is even less. So you get a discount for distributing through him and printing through him. If you don't distribute through him, you don't have to distribute through him. But if you don't distribute through him, you still get a nice, a cheaper rate compared to what's out there right now. But it won't be the discount that somebody that distributes through him would. So that's pretty big. And we could have him on the show and we can ask him a bunch of questions and talk to him about it.
Yeah.
But so big shout out to him. He's doing big things. He's pushing the envelope, man.
Yo, man, I give it to him, man. He's a hustler.
He's hustling.
He's
hustling hard.
It's not easy what he's doing and trying to create a lane.
No, it's not.
And it's a thankless job.
Yeah.
The motivation behind it, whatever that is.
And I think that this way he control as a distributor, when he's distributing the thing as a distributor, he has more control over damaged books. He can now take returns. Because he's printing it. So all like somebody who's distributing to him would have to do is just send him the print ready files. He prints them out. He ships them out.
Did this endeavor allow him to expand his reach because now the retailers are more receptive to this new format?
Yes. And because there's no delay. In other words, the biggest problem that he was having with the indies was that they weren't getting the books to him on time.
Right.
They were missing copies. They were missing, if the store ordered 6 or 7, they'd send them 7. 2 of them were damaged. Now he's like, I'm short 2. What am I going to do? Now he can just print it and send it, and there is no damage. Do you know what I mean? So, so big shout out to Phil. He's doing that. I was at a convention over the weekend with Mr. Syfax, and we had a good time over at Steel City Con. We'll talk a little bit about that after. That was fun. And I was supposed to be at a convention this weekend, but it was canceled.
I saw that too.
The roof fell. The roof fell on the place.
What was he doing? A shed? Was it a shack?
No, it was a dome. It was a huge dome in Jersey. And the weather that we had over the winter basically collapsed the thing.
Yeah, that's not my stomach you hear. That's my Chihuahua acting up back there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, and crazily enough, yesterday I'm driving around and I decided, you know what? I think I'm going to launch a Kickstarter. So
I know, and you said you weren't going to do it.
I know. Next month, May 26th.
I saw that you also booked yourself as a guest on the show.
Yeah, I did. May 26th.
I said, did he really just book himself as a guest?
Yes. I saw it open. You know what is funny? Because I was debating on whether or not to do it. And I was like, all right, if there's an opening on the show, that's a sign for me to do it. Right. So I looked at I was like, wait, May 26th. Holy, done. So I booked myself. So the launch party is May 26th for the release of the graphic novel, 140 pages. Big shout out to Joseph Olesko. He's down to the last 15 pages of the book.
Nice.
So we 10 actually, because he just finished the last. Yeah, so 10 pages left.
That's awesome.
We're done. So big shout out to him. And yeah,
You know
I'm
what the
excited.
hard part? The hard part is,
Yeah,
like, I'm so happy with some of the pages that I turned out with Cosmic Wars is
Mhm.
not showing it until you guys get the book.
yeah,
You know, it's like keeping that in the archives. I'm like, oh, wait till they see this, right?
yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, spoil it. Right.
yeah, it's those things where you gotta keep things in, you know, in the lock and key, under lock and key, and then you can't share it with the world, and it's tough, you know, because I love to like share stuff, but I was like, you know what? It's better that way. Even like with the duty, I'm only those 2 images. That's the only promo art I'm pushing out. It's consistently straight through the summer, because I realized that when I give too much, it loses its appeal, right? So I'm just give just a little, just enough to get people excited, and then hopefully they come for the long game.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so that's what's going to be happening at the end of the couple of months. So, you know, we have obviously a busy schedule with the show, and I know you're working on your stuff. I'm working on my stuff. So, but it's been fun, man. March was crazy. I went out to C2E2 in Chicago. I actually met up with Elliott and Alicia, and they were out there. Big shout out to Danny too, who were out there, and they were hustling, bro. They were hustling. People will tell you that C2E2 was a little slow this year. They didn't do so well. And while that may be true, these two, Calamity was killing it. So big shout out to them. I know they're in the back. So whenever you're ready, brother, we can bring them in.
Yeah, let's bring them out. Bring them out. Let's go. Let's go. In no specific order, let's bring them to the stage. Boom, boom, and boom. Welcome.
Yeah, they are. Look at that. It's a full house over here. We look like a Brady Bunch for real. How you guys doing?
Good to see you guys. Alicia, Blair, hi.
So Elliott, Alicia, welcome back. You guys have been on the show. Blair, we have not met you yet, but you are the editor behind the scenes, the one that says, "Hey, Elliott, this is crap. We got to change it." Right? Isn't that how it goes?
That's pretty much an exact quote that I said to Elliott. Yes.
And so here it is. But listen, you guys have done an amazing job with the book. So kudos to you guys. You never know. It's an incredible book. Big shout out to you guys. But for those who haven't met you guys yet, please let's go around the room and introduce yourselves. We'll start with Alicia. Alicia, go ahead. Introduce yourself to the audience. Yeah.
Hi guys. I'm Alicia, co-owner and head artist of Calamity Comics, and I'm getting my ass handed to me by allergies. So if I clear my throat, that's what that's about. And it's good to see you guys again. Good to see you, George.
Yeah. Always. Elliott, we'll come down to you. Introduce yourself to the audience here.
Hi, everyone. I'm Elliott. I'm one of the co-owners of Calamity Comics and the writer who writes things, who gets his ass handed him by the editor who's going next.
Blair, introduce yourself to the audience.
Yes, flawless transition, Elliott. Thank you. Yes, I'm Blair Schiff. I'm the editor. I am the one who hands Elliott's ass to him.
Now, Sam, I don't know if you know this, but amongst the group here, we have an Emmy Award winner, a daytime Emmy Award winner. And I never thought I'd ever meet somebody who won this or who actually was a recipient of this award. It's the Edward R. Morrow Award, which I'm a huge fan of, like sports, and I've always heard this recipient of this award, and I'm like, and here we have one, Blair Schiff. She actually was. I was looking through your website, and I'm sorry, guys. We will get to you guys, but I've spoken to you like, you know, it's going to be a Blair show for just a few minutes. So I was looking through your website. You've done some incredible work. How did you meet the group? How did you get involved in Calamity Comics? How did that happen?
Yeah, it is kind of happenstance in some ways. So a friend of mine who actually is a former journalist turned lawyer wanted to write a book, and she reached out to me because back in the day when we worked together at the same news station, she trusted me implicitly with her web stories. And so she's like, "Hey, do you ever do this?" I was like, "I actually do that kind of as a side gig, to my actual full-time job." And she's like, "Oh, that would be great." And I guess she had a good enough time with me that she recommended me to Elliott, who knows her through the lawyer community. And he was talking about he wanted to write a book. And she's like, oh, you have to get in contact with my editor. And so really, I credit Jackie with connecting us.
Oh, see? So now okay, so getting an editor, Elliott, I know, listen, I've read the book. It's an incredible book. You're an incredible writer, dude. Like, how hard was it to basically kind of like give your baby off to somebody who you really didn't know? Like, what was that experience like? Because Blair, part of the job is to give it to him straight, right? Let him know, hey, listen, this doesn't make sense. So how was that for you, Elliott, to give your book and your script and be able to take that criticism and say, hey, you got it. We'll do it like this.
For me, it was pretty easy, actually, because we had met and we had I'd say, interview of sorts where we were just chit-chatting, and immediately she was just very blunt on everything. And I'm like, yeah, no, I can totally just give you my book and we'll make it better. Because I've said before, I knew enough to know that I didn't know enough. And Blair clearly knew enough to know that there was more to learn. So for me, it was just, I did my job of just writing the first draft. And at that point, it was no longer my work. It was our work to make better.
Yeah, that makes sense. Now, as far as the editing, right? Because you have obviously the script editing, but you also go and edit the art, right, Blair? Is that part of the gig as well? Like, you go in there and say, okay, this is the script. Now here's the art. Okay, is that matching? Is that something that you also do? Or do you guys kind of collaborate in that sense? How does that work?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So the answer is kind of both. We definitely focus on the words first. And then once we figure out what we want to communicate in that, and then we look at the visuals and figure out how they're going to enhance the story. Because the last thing you want to do is like, thanks for handing me this orange handkerchief while someone's handing you an orange handkerchief. And I think that was something Elliott actually struggled with and got a lot better with throughout the process is, in your mind's eye, you're taught to describe every single thing. And when it comes to a graphic novel or any sort of comics, the art, which Alicia did amazing, enhancing it, but that's what it should be doing. It should be enhancing and not just being duplicitous. So I think that was something that kind of took some rhythm and getting used to and determining when the word was more powerful or when the art was going to be more powerful. And then sometimes it's a combination, right? And it's a beautiful sandwich, but sometimes it needs to be a little bit of both, like a seesaw.
Yeah. And then, so I'll go to you, Alicia. How was that for you? In other words, here you are, you're drawing this stuff. You think, okay, okay, this is looking right. And then you send it over to Blair. How was that back and forth with you guys? How was working with an editor now on your art?
It's like that rare power up that you use in a game every once in a while when you like finally have it, because Elliott and I are pretty cohesive when it comes to like his vision. And I don't normally like have pushback or experience a whole lot of no, because normally I get it right the first couple of tries. But when we need a tiebreaker, that's when it goes over to Blair. And the thing I like most about working with Blair is her honesty, which is a nice way of saying she'll be like, the fuck did you just do? We get like honest results out of that. If something really does, if something's really truncated or it's kind of like embarrassing to the scene, then we know to just cut it out. Whatever Blair says goes.
Yeah. Now you guys completed the first issue of I know this is a big story, Elliott. We talk a lot about your process and what you've written here. Do you guys find that as you guys kept going, it got easier, or do you feel like, man, this is hard, dude? Like, what's your reaction to it? And I'll let any one of you guys answer, whoever wants to go with that.
When you say this got hard, you mean the writing process, the collaborating process, like the further we got in?
All of it, yeah, all of it. Like, was it, was it hard to find a process that worked for you guys, or was it seamless? Like, was it right away? We're like, oh wow, you know what, this kind of freaking works, man. This is good.
I mean, I can only speak for myself. I think Alicia will go next, but for me, everything just kind of went really smoothly. Once Blair got in the picture, we kind of had a really clear idea of what we wanted to do with everything and where we wanted the story to go. And everybody just kind of fell into the roles naturally. Didn't ever feel like we had any pushback, or if Alicia and I ever argued over something, Blair, you're breaking the tie on this one. And if Blair ever, put her foot down on something, we're like, okay, Blair's right, because in Blair we trust. So Blair is famous, or I think Andy has famously said, Blair was only ever wrong once, but she was mistaken. So Blair's never really wrong. It just kind of helps everything run smoothly.
Got it. What about you, Alicia? How was it? How's it been for you? Like, has it gotten easier? Like, has it built confidence in you? Like, have you felt like, you know what? If Blair's okay with it, I'm kicking ass right now, because that's going to be the toughest. That's probably going to be my toughest critic. So if she says it's okay, I don't care what that person coming down the aisle is going to say about this book.
Yeah, that's exactly right, because I haven't noticed yet, like, encountering some kind of obstacle with Elliott or with Blair or with myself that, like, I can't easily get through by talking to one of them.
Right.
You know, so in this team, it's like the project is more important than the ego, and the three of us really get that. And that's why I agree with Elliott. It's just been really smooth.
Yeah.
And I'm still drawing issue number 2.
Right.
And that's even going smoothly.
Nice. Now, Blair, so what do you think about these two? How are they getting it? Are they finally getting it?
Yeah, by George, I think they've got it. No, I really do think they do. Something that I think is so important in the writing process in general that not enough authors do is figure out what they're trying to achieve by writing what they're writing. And a lot of people have a story, which is great, but anyone can have a story. To me, it's the end goal of, like, what do you want to achieve by writing this story? Like, is it something where it's just catharsis and you want to get it down on paper because it means something about your life and that's going to help you in, like I said, some sort of cathartic way? Or is it you want to help others, or you want people to identify with it? Like, everyone needs to have kind of a root cause. And I think that's why it started going really, really smoothly from the get, is in that interview process that Elliott was talking about. That was one of the first questions I asked him, was like, what do you want to get out of it? Because then if we're all rowing in the same direction, then there's not going to be as much conflict. And what Alicia said is perfect. You know, you have to set your ego aside. And there, you know, at the end of the day, guys, it's so embarrassing how bad I am at drawing. Like, it's disrespectful that God gave me the lack of this much gift. So there's a lot of times where I might observe it and, like, well, I don't love what you did there, but at the end of the day, that I'm not an expert on that. Like, I can only give you this one feedback of something I noticed, like, oh, it's weird that his hair is parted that way, or, you know, he just got out of the shower, it'd probably be flatter, you know, little things that I'm, like, applying physics, you know, to it, and like logic and continuity.
Continuity. I was just gonna say that, continuity.
Yeah, because I'm always the person that, like, the last scene, that cup was half full. I'm that guy. So a lot of times that's really what I'm bringing, and she's bringing the realism, and then Elliott's bringing, like, the overall vision. But I just really want to emphasize, I think that's really the breakdown with a lot of teams, especially when you're collaborating creatively, is that you're just not all running in the same track, and you have to.
You know, I was going to ask you this also, Blair. It's like, because you're a journalist, so you're a writer. You also write, right? So, like, how do you, like, almost like take yourself out of the, like, writer's mindset and say, I would have written it that way? How do you kind of separate that from just being, and I say just being an editor, but taking just, you're editing this book, I'm not writing this book. Like, how do you separate that? Because I think that's kind of hard. Sometimes editors get too involved in what we're writing, and they almost want to tell their story. So how do you separate that? How do you avoid that?
I mean, you have to be cognizant of it, because you're completely right. I think I personally have to remind myself constantly, like, this is not my book. You know, like, I am here to serve a purpose, and the purpose that I serve is to enhance what Elliott is trying to conceive and convey, right? So I think there's a little bit of a mantra that you have to remind yourself with. And there are also times, I mean, Elliott can attest that he will write something and I'll be like, that was the worst sentence I've ever read. Please do anything but that. Here is a suggested sentence that is, I think, what you were trying to convey. And then he'll go, yep, that's exactly what I was trying to communicate. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, you put your spin on that, because I still want it to feel like his words and it's not just mine. But there's definitely some times that Elliott's gone, I know I want to do this. And he'll just, like, rant and rave about a thing. And then we'll kind of conceptualize that together and drill it down and find the right way to cohesively communicate that. Because sometimes you just can't find the words. That's, like, why speechless is a thing, right? So I think a little bit it's a comme ci comme ça, trying to remind myself this is not my book that I'm trying to tell. I'm just there to, like, highlight it and make it cooler and a little bit easier to understand for the viewers and the readers, right?
Yeah. No, and you guys, listen, you guys have done an excellent job doing that. And I think that it's enhanced the book. I mean, I don't know what your script looked like, Elliott, before, Blair. All I can go is by what I've read so far, and so far, I think it moves like a film. It really does. I think you guys aren't afraid of the empty pages, and we've talked about this, Elliott. Well, like sometimes comic books are supposed to have a bunch of words in them, right? Because that's what you're supposed to have. But you guys have done a really good job at letting the art, Alicia, tell the story. And obviously that goes back to the writing, and nobody sees that because nobody sees the script. All they see is Alicia's beautiful artwork, and they all think, "Oh my God, but there's a lot of work that goes into that." Alicia, like as far as taking that on and knowing that, hey, they're gonna see a lot of just what I'm doing, and there's not gonna be any words to kind of save me here. How was that for you as a first-time comic book artist, right? Like, how was that? Did you read some of these books on sequential art? Like, how did you go about trying to figure that out on your own? Because that's tough.
I think like when I read his script for the first time, not only could I see exactly what he was putting out there, I think by then Blair already got to it, so it was really like well put together. It did read a lot like a movie, but also I'm used to reading like theater scripts.
Okay.
And so like how to turn a blank page into art is a lot like an empty stage into a production. There's so many little things to consider. So I think that's where my mind came from. But like, I like that you say it reads and looks like a film, because I somewhat intend that, because I love when a good film is good. So that's what that's what I'm going for.
Yeah, I really love like the duality of like you have this character, right, who's hanging out with his friends, and everybody looks like they're having a great time. By the way, I met the Sam, right, is the name of the cat. I met the Chris, the most hilarious human being I've been around. He signed my book. I'm going after every single cast member to sign my book in this book, but so you go from that, right? Like that really cool scene and everybody's having a good time and you feel like you're, oh my God, that's such a cool friend group. And then you go into this apartment, as beautiful as it looks, and that's the you never know, right? So like putting that together, I'm going to ask you, Blair, did you right away see where that was going to go? How much input did you have into that? Was that already there, or how was that collaboration specifically for that scene? Like, did you feel like maybe you need to add a little more? How was that back and forth? Because that's a great scene. You guys did a really good job at like kind of transitioning from one to the other.
I think everyone's experienced that moment, right? Where you have just this cacophonous noise of your friends hanging out and it's just all this buzz, right? And then you get back to your apartment, and especially if you've lived alone, and then it's just silence, right? And you haven't turned on the music yet or whatever. And not everyone does that, but I do. But I mentioned that because I think I really wanted that to resonate and breathe. And I like what Alicia said, because that happens in movies sometimes, right? And sometimes movies have a crutch of just trying to put a soundtrack under it, so we don't have the uncomfortability of silence. But I think silence can actually speak louder in those moments, because it actually becomes kind of a character in those moments. So that's when I was reading it and trying to understand once again where we were going, right? Like what was the end scene? What was the big climax that we were working toward? That helped me realize that there had to be these lonely, very quiet, and like intensely introspective moments with that character, right? Because otherwise it was going to come out of left freaking field that he was having any sort of struggles, because he looked like the guy that had it all, right? You know, so I think that's why you had to kind of drill that home without it being heavy-handed. Like that he can't just like come in the door and immediately start sobbing, because that's over dramatized and not real, right? I mean, I'm sure that happens for someone, but that's not what we were going for here. The key was to keep him grounded and feel like he does have his shit together on the outside, but the second that door closes, he gets in his brain.
Yeah, and the way you guys did it too, it almost hits you like, wait, what's going on here? Like I did have that what's going on moment. Like why is he doing it? Like, you know, like, because I think that when you're going through things, right, people don't understand what you're going through because they're not going through it. So to them, it seems like, what's wrong with this guy? And I think that the beauty of the book is that you can have that reaction and still enjoy the book, or you can be like, I know exactly what's going on here and enjoy the book, you know, because at no point did I say, oh, this is ridiculous. No, I was always like, holy cow, like, you know, this, it totally felt like it could happen. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. It totally felt like this can happen. It totally felt like this happens a lot. I have a friend who, like you said, living alone is not necessarily always easy, especially when you've gone through stuff in your life, because that's when you're the most vulnerable, in that alone time, in that lonely space, right? So no matter how nice your apartment looks, sometimes you never know, right? And I think that's the beauty of the title. I want to go to the title. How did that come? Was that, Elliott, was that your brainchild? Blair, was that a suggestion? Alicia, did you have anything to that? Like, where did You Never Know come from? Like, how did that come about?
For me, that was the working title. That's the only thing it was ever. I just wrote on the page You Never Know, and then I just started writing the first issue, and I never changed that. And I think after the first draft, Blair said, you got to change it. It has nothing to do with the story. That's how bad the first draft was. And I go, I refuse. There were two things I didn't change. One was the title. There's the only two things I didn't listen to Blair on. One was changing the title. Two was something toward the end of the story. And I refused to change the title. So I said, we're going to just have to rework the story to make the title work.
Wow. Oh, wow. Damn. That's big. That is huge. Blair, did you have any idea for a title? Like, when, after you read that first script, you said, did you ever think to yourself, this should be called this?
No, because I think when he's first talked about what he was conceiving, like what he wanted to work with, it just was so incongruous with the title and what he ended up producing. And I think he hit the nail on the head that what then he realized is that he wasn't accomplishing the goal that he was trying to do, right? Like, if the title didn't make sense to me, then the problem was not the title.
Oh, God.
You know, the problem was like his writing was not driving home the message of You Never Know, right?
Yeah.
And so when I was like, I finished reading it and I was like, why is this title here? Like, I was like, this is so out of nowhere. I was like, does it explain itself later? And he's like, no, that's it. I was like, I hate it. And I was like, but then I realized, oh, it's because we weren't driving that message home enough. And then after, reworking it, then ironically, we had to have the story support the title, which we could do. Because at the end of the day, like, the title was what he wanted to do. Like, that was the project he had in mind. He just didn't quite have the supporting evidence to make the case yet. Yeah. But then once he got, I made a law reference. Are you so proud of me, Elliott? I don't want to brag. I have an expired LSAT score. So that was just like a really good way to prove to him, like, no, you need to like make the case better. And then when he did, then the title made sense.
And it's crazy because I mentioned to Sam, I went to see 2E2. You guys were there. It was your first show, right? Blair, you didn't make it out. Are you going to be going to any of the conventions with the guys?
It depends. I'm a busy lady.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
I keep trying to, I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina. I keep telling him, I was like, come to Charlotte. We have one of those.
Heroes. Yeah, Heroes is that. No, wait, is that there? No, that's not.
Yeah, we got waitlisted for Heroes. But
you did?
So, yeah. I don't think we'll get in, but.
I guess I don't have any pull. Sorry.
No, that's a tough one. That's a pretty big con. It gets busy. But what I was going to ask you was, as far as the title, right? The title, I think, helps with the pitch of the book. And like I was going to mention, you guys were at C2E2, and I know that, first time behind the table, and the pitch is something that's so important, especially with people who are walking by, because they don't have time. I don't have time to walk by. And I think one of the things that you guys did, and you guys talk to me about how you came up with this, was the 10-second pitch. And the 10-second pitch was something that was catching people right off the bat, because they're like, you got 10 seconds? I can tell you this thing in 10 seconds. And it was almost, at that point, it was like people were like, oh yeah, let's see, and sure enough. So how did that 10-second pitch happen? Like what was the genesis of that?
I think it just kind of came naturally because the pitch was never very long. Like, I think even the log line for the book it's maybe one sentence or two sentences. And we live in an age where no one has an attention span anymore. So if you say, I'll tell it to you in 10 seconds, they're like you said, okay, sure. Yeah, you can. I give it to them in 8 seconds and they're like, oh shit, that was quick. Like, yeah, it doesn't take that much to tell you on the story. If you can either get it now or we can talk more about it, whatever you feel. Right, but it was just that when people are going by and they're not really looking at you, you need, hey, I'll give you 10 seconds. Everybody can spare 10 seconds. It's going to be 2 minutes at that point. But just that intrigue of getting them to the table was where that 10 seconds came from, because I would say the pitch and I kind of time it in my head. I'm like, it's around 8 seconds. But if you say 10 seconds, it kind of just sticks to people. And then it becomes the, oh, really type of thing. And then Alicia caught on to it and she kept trying to say, oh, it's 9 seconds. And it was great. But
they
just
trying
kind
to
of
like walk away.
Yeah, it's like 10 seconds, they keep walking. 9 seconds, and they're already gone. But no, it was just, you wanted to be able to tell them the story quick, because there's not really, the whole point is you want to learn more. You don't want to tell everyone the story in the pitch. Like, you never know what other people are going through behind closed doors. Boom, done.
Yeah.
And then at some level, everybody can relate to that. But if you keep going and drudging on, you just lose people.
Yeah, I feel like, Alicia, like, and this is the beauty, like, I love talking to creators and meeting them when they first start, because when I first met you, Alicia, you were very like kind of like quiet and shy, and by the time you guys hit that floor at the convention, you were a different person. You were out there and you were selling this book and you were doing your thing. How did it feel to be behind that table for the first time and being able to just share your artwork with people and having people say, yeah, I'll take one? Because you guys did amazing at this show, like amazing. It was insane how well you guys did.
I was just happy.
Yeah.
And yeah, I still like walk around daydreaming about it constantly. So I don't know how else can I describe it. I'm just, I don't feel like I changed. We started writing a newsletter directly after this because we were like, oh, wow, we just went to C2E2. We got to like write down our experiences so we don't forget them, but also alert people of what's been going on in our lives. And a passage that like I scrapped, but I started to write was like, I feel like I didn't change as a person, because Elliott said the same thing. He's like, wow, like, who's this Alicia? But it's like, that's who I really am.
Right, okay.
Because comics is seriously in my blood. And I could talk ad nauseum about how great they are and share the nerddom with anybody. But because real life and my life outside the convention, I guess, isn't like that, I don't fit in outside of the convention, but inside, like, I really do come out of my shell.
Yeah, I feel that. I really do feel that. Because I have a buddy of mine who's the same way. He's like, he fits there. Like, that's his world. And he feels so comfortable in there. He'll talk to you about all that stuff, you know, and it's like a different person. But you're right. Maybe that's just who you are. It's just you're in the right place at that point. Blair, were you a comic book fan growing up? Like, did you read comics? Did you write comics?
I certainly have not written comics. See aforementioned inability to draw also. But I read a lot of comics with my brother. My brother is about 10 years older than me. So he was kind of my intro to comics. And I'm obsessed with like comic book movies. Elliott knows this. Like, I am totally that obnoxious person that loves them. But I also kind of like the formula of a lot of like superhero comics, because they're pretty much all the same, just small derivations. And I like that. There's like some comfort in that. You know, like you kind of know it'll end slightly like this. And there's, I don't know, it's like a little soup. You just like to eat comfort. So I like comics, and I've always been really impressed by the artistry, specifically because of my lack of talent. And like I mentioned earlier, just how it does enhance the story. And I'm both a visual learner, and then obviously I love to read. So, I mean, that's a combination of both. But sometimes if the words, because I'm an editor, I'm really judgy about how they're writing them, right? So it's really hard for me to read anything. So sometimes I'm like, oh, but I can't judge the art because I super can't do that.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, that makes sense. What's next for Calamity, guys? Like, I know issue number 2 is being worked on, right, Alicia? So like, what's going on next, Elliott? You got any news for us?
Well, right now we just have I'll let Alicia talk about issue 2 for now. I can go with the other stuff afterwards.
Okay, all right.
Man, you knew exactly what I was doing, and you're like, I'll do that part. Okay, issue 2. So let's see. Oh, something I have heard. It's a compliment, but artists will get it. Like, I've heard that, wow, starting at page 1 of issue 1 and reading to the end, it's like your artwork got better.
Yeah.
All I heard was the first couple of pages sucked. So I was like, oh, so this time what I'm going to do is I started drawing around page 10 or something. So with issue 2, yeah, I'm starting in the middle just so like the first 10 pages will be great this time, I promise.
Interesting. Oh, that's a good strategy. I like that, Alicia. I like that. Look at you. So how far along are you?
I'm somewhere between inks and scanning.
Okay.
Because after I scan, then I'll start coloring. And I think it'll take me less time than last time because like I'm so excited to get coloring.
So Aniba just said I do that too. He does. He starts from the middle. Like he jumps around. He jumps around a little bit.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, and I was talking to him about this. You're doing it all. I was talking to Sam. So inks, well, pencils and inks. Do you find coloring to be the most annoying part, or the hardest part, or the best part? Like, how do you feel about coloring? Because I hate it.
I'm still kind of new to it.
Yeah.
I'll have to get back to you a couple issues down the road, but like I've started collecting swatches. I'm in the process of learning how to make it more efficient. I think I know what to do when I have the actual tools in front of me, but like I'm still in the learning phase.
Yeah.
But if you asked Alicia for page 1 of issue 1 if she liked coloring, she would have said, I fucking hate
it. So what's going on? What's next? So what do you guys got going on?
Oof. Well, we're slowly filling up our year for conventions and signings, so that's going great. After C2E2, it was like, all right, we got to just keep going.
Yeah.
We got some stuff that we're going to be announcing pretty soon and over the summer, and then obviously we're hoping that we can get Blair to one of the conventions in the fall if the stars all align properly, and Blair can convince Andy to go with. Then we might be able to all go to New York, but. We'll see. We'll see. Just a lot of conventions, a lot of signings, and just try to move everything forward as best we can. While Alicia is working on the art, Blair and I are working on other parts of the story that we're going to be working on next week. Can't wait. And then, I'm trying to do everything on the back end on the business side to try to get us moving as forward as we can. And Alicia's doing a lot of the social media stuff. So we're all just moving forward with Blair steering the ship.
Yeah. And Blair, I know you lived in New York for a little while, obviously with work and stuff like that. Do you ever make it back out to the East Coast? Or up north, I should say, for you.
I know, the upper East Coast, yes.
Yeah.
Not the mid East Coast. Yeah, I go back often. I miss it up there for sure. It's going back to my blunt nature. I fit in well in New York City.
You do.
I'm
Yes, you do.
not rude, I'm just honest. So
Yeah.
I do go back there often, and that's one of the reasons. Like, well, if I can get into New York, I have like a free place to stay. You put me in Indianapolis, I got to put out some feelers, you know.
Yeah, no, I would love to see you guys later on this year in October. I'm even saying to Sam, I'm hoping to be able to do like a panel there, and I'd love to have, obviously Elliott and Sam. I told Sam if you wanted to come on for that. I do have a question in the chat. For you guys. So when someone, and this is for Alicia, so when someone is complimenting the evolution of your art, is it the same?
Somebody is complimenting the evolution of my art. Yeah. Is it the same as?
Do you hear in your head like, man, that sucked, it's better now? Or do you feel like, oh, thank you, like, all right, you're seeing
now I will start to take it as a compliment because I think they are right at this point. It just sucks that like, what I had prior is published forever.
But it's always going to be that way. Your work is always, the goal is for it to always be better. You want their latest thing to be better than the first thing you did. If we come back, a few issues later and someone says, oh, issue 1 was so good, what happened? Then we fucked up. Yeah. So
absolutely. No one likes when the sequel's better than the original. There's a reason you got a sequel, right?
Yeah.
You're obviously good enough to get a sequel.
It's true. But guys, this has been amazing. Thank you so much for coming on and talking to us about what you guys have been doing. You guys are welcome anytime. I know your Kickstarter is going to be launching soon, right? Like, or at least the pre-launch page, or you guys going to have anything?
We're hoping tentatively, if all goes well, we'll be launching sometime like mid to late summer with the pre-launch coming up early summer. But once we do, you guys will be the first to know.
Yeah, sign up.
Nice.
Sign up and get, and you know.
And Sam, I
come on.
appreciate the mature audiences.
Yeah.
Label up there.
Too many F bombs, too many X words. Sam,
I'm quick on the draw. I'm quick on the draw.
I don't think that the news station is quick enough to censor us when Blair and I are just in one-on-ones.
No, you get one F word. You're fine. We're like,
Yeah, I'll take it. It's our favorite word because it's a noun, it's a verb, it's an adjective.
it's so useful, guys.
you encourage using it once. Guys, thank you again for coming on. It's always a pleasure to talk to you guys. Elliott, we'll be chatting up. Blair, it was a pleasure meeting you. If you're not involved and you're staying stagnant, correct. Alicia, always a pleasure. Tell Daniel I said hello.
I will.
It was a pleasure meeting him as well. You guys are amazing. You're doing great work.
Yes.
Guys, thank you so much for having us as always. Blair, Alicia, we'll talk soon.
Thank you,
Absolutely,
guys.
and always. Thanks, guys.
Thanks. Later. And there they go.
There they go.
Calamity
Yes.
Comics.
Yes. And just from one artist to another, any compliment, no matter in what form it comes in, I always take it no matter what. And you know, it's funny because we talk about the evolution of you've seen like my art style. I continue to evolve. And even as I'm, I think it's funny because you kept asking me about Drawing Forbidden. Cosmic Wars. And I relied heavily back in the days on 3D.
Right.
And I use a lot of filters like bevel and bows and all that stuff. But because I got better as a colorist, I don't need that. You know what I mean? And it's because the past 4 years I've just been honing my craft and trying to get better and better, right? Yeah. And I'm still not where I want to be, but I can see the progression, page to page. Yeah. And I'm like, I was like, oh man, why didn't I think of that on that issue? But I wasn't there at that time. You know what I mean? Right. At that time I was at that skill level, right? And so I think you just gotta enjoy the journey because we're always growing.
Yeah. And Alicia definitely, as an artist, she's definitely growing. She's going to continue to grow.
Yeah,
it's inevitable. The more you do something, the better you get at it. Maybe at some point you hit a plateau and that's all you're going to do, but I think it happens. Sam, do you have a favorite job in comics? Pencils, inks, or colors?
I love the thumbnail process. That's my favorite part, the sketching.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Yeah, right. I love the thumbnail process because it's organic.
Yeah.
The coloring process is work. It's like I'm punching a clock, right? But I love the finished product when I achieve my goal. But the sketching process is fluid, right? It's just like an extension of yourself. It's almost like a ballet, right? You're just dancing and you're playing. So I love the sketching process.
Yeah. No, those sketches look dope, dude. You can even like publish something like that, just the sketches. You know what I mean? Is it a journey one that should be enjoyed? That way it's easier to travel.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. You have to love what you do. Dude, I tell you, I get up at 4:45 every morning. It's no joke. And the first thing I do is I give my dogs their treats and I take them out potty, but then I grab my pre-workout drink and I drink it and I draw for about an hour, let the pre-workout get into my body, and then I work out. But the first thing I'm doing is drawing, right, for that hour. And then I work out, then I get ready for work and I go to work. And when I get out of work, I come home, eat dinner with my wife, and I come straight to the table. Yeah. And I know which phase I'm in, right? So if I'm in the sketching phase, it's fun. Inking phase, it's fun. Coloring phase, it's work. It's work because it's 3 times as much time invested in coloring than I would from sketching and inking, right? And so it's more labor involved, right? And you don't get that immediate gratification. Like when I'm sketching, I get like immediate gratification. I'm like, oh, I like that angle, or I like this, I like that, right? When you're coloring, you just don't know, and you keep playing, and you're changing the brushes, and you're changing your swatch, and you're changing the colors, and you're testing and trying, right? So it's work.
Yeah. No, I think the coloring part, man, it's it's even if you don't want to say it's definitely time consuming.
It is, yeah.
For sure, it definitely is. Like
if you see 6 hours on a drawing. If you see 6 hours, she loves it. If you see 6 hours like on my clock for a drawing, 4 of those 6 hours are coloring, unimpeded, straight up, just coloring, right? So, or even more than that, right? So most of the time, 75% of my time is coloring versus illustration.
Yeah.
Because I'm even getting better with just going straight to inks, right? And like today, I was finishing a page that I was recreating from back in the days of Cosmic Wars with this battle scene, and I wanted some key characters in the background, and I just inked it. I was like, I'm not going to sketch. I'm just going to ink it because I just added them in. But I got better, and I was never confident with just going straight to ink. But I got better. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah. All right, Sam, you overcame that hurdle, right? That's another step in the game, right? So I think it's all part of the journey, bro.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, dude. I'm a coloring maniac. Yeah, just wanted to say real quick before we get off the topic of the team that we just had on the calamitycomics.net is their website. So calamitycomics.net. Go there, pick up their books. They also have a Substack, Calamity Comics. If you're on Substack, they have a newsletter that they send out. It's awesome. So definitely check them out. But
we do have a topic.
Yes, we do. Let's get to it.
Yeah, man.
It's time for your medicine.
And what is the topic of the day, George?
Today we're going to be talking about what do you expect from a convention as a vendor, right? Like, what are your expectations? You pay $300 for your table. What are you expecting to get from the convention as far as the support of the convention and, whether it is sales or whatever? But to me is, what do you expect from that convention? What do you expect the convention to give to you when you're an exhibitor or a vendor behind the table?
I sum it up this way.
Yeah.
Give them nothing, but take from them everything.
Wow.
No. I expect I expect the convention. I expect the convention to respect the creatives. That's what I expect from a convention. If it's from a promoter aspect, understand that you are funding your celebrities because of the creatives. Respect them, right? And don't shortchange them. Don't treat them like secondhand, right? Respect them because they're your bread and butter. That's paying for your celebrities, right? Yeah. So that's why you're charging those extreme prices for those tables for all these artists and creatives, right? Because you want that B-list celebrity or whatever it is. That celebrity is going to cancel the week of, right? But you want to pay for that stuff. So I think respect the creatives. I expect to have an 8-foot table, not a 6-foot table, right? With those prices, man. It's just like, if you're gonna charge me $300, I expect 8 feet. If you're charging me $150, I'll take 6 feet, right? But if you're gonna pay these extreme prices, that $300 doesn't pay for Wi-Fi. That $300 doesn't pay for parking. That $300 doesn't even give you a bottle of water. No. That $300 doesn't even give your name on their website as exhibiting. You know what I mean? So that $300 should get my name on your website. That $300 should give me at least free Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think that's what I expect. I expect you stop acting up and start taking care of the people that are actually helping you keep this going, because you call it a comic convention, then treat it as such and take care of the artist.
I agree.
So I'm off my rant.
I think the cost of the table should be comparable to the number of days that the convention is going to be and the attendance you're going to get there.
Yeah.
Don't charge me $300 for a table when it's a one-day show and 50 people are going to walk through the door.
Word.
So I think that's important, right? I think the layout of the convention is important, right? Yep. The placement of the artist alley compared to where the signings are going to be, or have signage so people can find us. They know where Artist Alley is going to be. I think that I'm expecting you guys to be able to do that for us. Like you mentioned, size of the table is important, right? Load in and load out. How easy is it to load in? How easy is it to load out? Or at least make it as easy as you possibly can. Because I know sometimes this all falls on the location, the place
venue.
You're in. The venue, dictates that sometimes.
Sometimes they're jerks.
So I get that. Yeah, so I get it.
So why even do business with them?
Exactly. Somehow it just goes back to them. You mentioned how well are the exhibitors treated. You know what I'm saying? How do they treat you? They walk around, see if you're okay. What I think one thing that and big shout out to Chris Hayes, who has Texoma. The crew, they're the people who they hire or the volunteers actually walk by and say, "Hey, do you need a break?" And they'll stand, especially if you're by yourself, they'll stand behind the table for you while you take a quick break to go to the bathroom. So that's awesome. How well spaced are the aisles? Are they too big? Are they too small? They can't be too big and they can't be too small. You have to space those things out just right so that people aren't so far away they can avoid you, or so tight that they just want to get through and pass what you're doing. There's an art form to that stuff too. You know what I mean? I think, is it indie friendly? You know, like, how do they treat the indies? You know,
the bigger the show, the less friendly it is for the indie.
Yep. So you got to
bottom line.
You got to be, cognizant of that, and the location. You know, is there parking available outside? You know, like, how am I going to get this stuff in here? Like, the location of the place. So I think the expectations are high, and I know it's probably not easy to run one of these things, you know, because of all of those things. But I think if you're charging the amount of money you're charging for some of these conventions, you kind of have to have all of that stuff.
And I don't think they really understand the power of communication, right? I could tell you right now, since I've been in Texas, I did over 20 different shows, and I will only go back to about 6 because they're not indie friendly, or they're not convenient, or their prices are too big and the conversion's not there, right? So, and that's just one person, but then I share that information on my blog and I share it on my post, right? And then other people like, I'm not going to do that when I'm going to waste my money. They don't understand that this is other indies are looking to get information from other indies, right? Yeah. And it's like, how was it for you or whatever? And now, mind you, not everybody's experience is going to be the same, because I was at a convention where location in the convention makes a big difference. Right. So I was in a zone where it was like dead man's land, but there was another section of Artist Alley where it was popping. Right. And it was just crowded. Right. But on my end, nothing was happening. Right. So all the location makes a big difference too. Right. So, I think if you're going to call yourself Comic-Con, understand that it's the comic creators that are the drawer, that should be the drawer, and take care of them. It should be the comic creators and the comic vendors should be protected, because they're your bread and butter. Those vendors are paying premium for these big giant booths to lug all of their comics from their comic shop, to build these big setups, right? Take care of those guys, right? And because they're really that's the reason why they're there. But they've steered towards anime and celebrities and pop culture, and away from, and I think that's the game changer. If comic book promoters can just recalibrate and reset and go back to the roots, you'll see a change. You'll see a shift. But it's what they're focusing on in all of their marketing. It's everything but comics. It's the celebrities. It's these, right? But if they shift that marketing to the comics and create an excitement around that, you'll see a change in the culture. But you need that as well, to drive more traffic. But they're not doing that, and that's the tough part.
Yeah, I just want to go to the comments real quick. So Ralph says there's an art to lettering as well. The better you do it, the more people don't see it, because it becomes one with the comic. Yeah, that's kind of key there. And what does Lou expect? At least a table and a chair
and a roof.
That's all she expects. But what I was going to say was I think that people want to spend money. They do. They'll spend money on what they love, right? But you have to promote it the right way. I think that when I was at C2E2, I met a couple of Elliott's friends, huge, comic book heads. They loved comic books. They went up to a table of a comic book artist. He had a really cool book on the table. The dude spent $75 on his big ass book, and he bought 2. He spent $150.
He bought 2.
Bought 2, $150. Spent it, no problem.
Damn,
willing to spend, right?
Show me the money.
But why? Because the Artist Alley, and I got to give credit to C2E2 for the way they put their Artist Alley, like in the middle of the convention, so you can't miss it. Nice. You're gonna hit it. There's gonna be aisles going up and down, and there are legit comic book artists there. Artist Alley isn't for, you know, I mean, there are some, but you know, the crochet stuff and like the Artist Alley for the most part are artists, comic book artists, indie creators. That's what's in the Artist Alley. I think what's killing some of these conventions is that. And I know that that's a form of art. I know the bracelets and all that other stuff, and it's not a knock on that. But I think that what happens is at comic book conventions, we're losing so much of the comic book part of the comic book convention.
Yeah.
And it's becoming almost like a pop culture show, which a lot of them are. And the big ones are pop culture shows. But I think, like you said, to your point, we got to go back to the roots of this whole thing. If you're going to call it a comic book convention, I want to see some comic book vendors. I want to see some comic book artists. You know, we talk about this all the time. San Antonio, you had Arthur Adams there, and you had David Finch, and you might as well have had, you know, Samuel Vera and George Medina there, because nobody knew they were there.
Nobody knew they were there. They weren't on a panel. They weren't on the panel. They didn't get top billing. Nothing.
Panel, nothing. You know, so yeah, I mean, they have to do a better job, and I think that the expectation is at least have that. I think most conventions only need to be 2 days. I don't think you need 3-day conventions.
No, unless you're New York Comic Con in San Diego.
Exactly.
Don't play around. Don't play around because you're not them, right? And I think that's my biggest beef, and it's one of the reasons why I needed to detox from conventions, because I've seen such a shift, even with the smaller shows, like they're shifting into novelty stuff, and I'm like, it's not the same anymore. When you're sitting, you should be next to like other creatives, and I'm next to a drink vendor, someone who's making their own lemonades, and and next to somebody who makes their own crochet stuffed dolls or whatever it is. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense to me, right? I should be next to other creatives and artists, comic book artists and writers. And I think that's what it is. I think with the just trying to, they just want to sell the space. They don't care who buys it.
They've become expensive flea markets.
Yeah, that's what it is.
It's they're charging people to shop.
Yeah.
You know, they're just charging you money to shop.
Yeah.
With $50 on Saturday to go shopping. How the heck do you do that and not show them off? Yeah, I'm telling you, it was crazy. It was crazy, bro. Not showing off David Finch and Arthur Adams.
I was surprised, but there was also this anime artist who had a huge social media following, who was really talented. She packed up on the second day.
She was out.
She's like, yo, this sucks. Hey, it was a 4-day show. Never been a 4-day show. And it was a 4-day show to 8 o'clock every night. And I was like, there was no reason for that. Who do you think you is? It was like identity crisis. It was like, I don't know what it was, but it was tough. I mean, I never pack up early, and I was packing up early every night so we can go and party.
Yeah, the best part of the trip was hanging out and going down to the river.
Oh my gosh! I mean, we had that pub where we were singing, and
that was great.
Live band. That was awesome, bro.
That was great. That was great.
You know, the vibrating chairs. Remember the movie theater?
Where everybody fell asleep. It was great.
We went to see. Was it Bad Boys? Was it Bad Boys?
I think it was Bad Boys for Life.
Bad Boys. Yeah, the chairs throwing you around. I'm like, I can't even eat my popcorn. It's flying. I'm like, what the hell?
Yo, we went to Steel City Comic Con this weekend with Jonathan, and we went to the movies. We hit up Project Hail Mary. Good movie.
What is that?
Project Hail Mary. It's with Ryan Gosling, where he's sent out to space to save the world, basically, because there's bacteria that's eating the sun. It's based on a book. Good movie, really good movie. You guys check it out. But yeah. That was one of those conventions, and I hate to say it, where like we spent more time outside of the convention, checking out the sites. We went to the Warhol Museum. We went to rather than at a convention, because it just needed to be maybe 2 days, maybe one. We got there Saturday, walked around, checked everything out, hit a couple of vendors. Jonathan bought a couple of back issues, and that was it. We were good to go. We walked through the Artist Alley. The Artist Alley had maybe 4 artists, like 4 comic book artists. Everything else was what you're talking about. The crochet stuff, and they had a guy. I mean, they had a guy there doing tattoos, which is cool. It's awesome. But yeah, they had that. So yeah, it's not the same, dude. It's not the same. We were there, and dude, Saturday, $50 to get through the door on a Saturday. $50 to get through the door.
Does that give you free lunch?
No.
Damn.
You know, like, geez, it's the conventions are getting more and more expensive.
No
to attend.
cookies?
Nothing.
Damn. No swag bag?
No swag bag. No swag.
Remember those days back in the
Yeah.
days? We used to go to conventions just to get all the swag. They have all the
Swag
tables
bag.
and we would load up. Like, yeah,
Yes.
man, we get all these free comics and posters and candy
Yes.
cards.
Yes.
None of
And I
that.
get it. The cost is crazy, but like, I'm telling you, especially with us, like, I feel like indie creators would give you guys to give away for free. You know what I mean? We
Yeah.
give you trading cards. We give you stuff. Just put it in a swag bag. I mean, I think that's a good idea, actually, to bring back the swag bag. Bring it back.
Yeah.
Bring it back.
That was a draw.
Yeah. I've heard complaints that the con is making its money off tables and the entry fee and don't really care if people come to buy at the con. Yeah. That's what it
But
feels
they're
like.
they're at risk because, and I think that's the biggest thing is like you're at risk of losing repeat visitors, right? You know, the following year, and I think that's what they don't understand. I mean, I stopped doing a whole bunch of conventions because number one, they failed to market to the community. I went to a convention where nobody showed up in Texas, right? And I'm standing there, and then I'm there with Lori Calcaterra and a few other people, and it's like it was dead man's land. I was like, what happened here?
Do you think there's such a thing as too many conventions?
I think so. I think
Yeah.
it's like when I look at how
Yeah,
many are
I
New
think so.
Jersey right now, I'm like, man, Jersey's
Yeah.
going crazy, right? And it sounds like Texas. Texas has so many events,
Yeah.
and I think sometimes it's just oversaturating the market.
Mhm.
And people will say, "Well, I'll just go to the other one."
Yeah.
Right? Or I'll just go to the other one, right? And then it loses its luster, right? So outside of the celebrity draw, what's there? Because there are no superstars in comics. That's what's missing. You need that buzz again. You need those superstars in comics. You need them at all levels, whether it's through Image and Marvel and DC. You need those superstar artists and writers. The problem is everybody draws the same at these big two companies. They all look the same. All the art styles look the same, right? And the only differentiator is the non-big two, right? But then, Image has a look right now. Everyone has a look, right? So where's the breakout artist? So you need it's like Scotty Young needs a PR company to promote the shit out of him and make him a super, because he has the potential to be a superstar, right? And so he's making money, he's doing his thing, right? He's a drawer, but this guy has a potential to repeat what they did back in the 90s with McFarlane and whatever, because he's that good, right? So you need somebody, you need to have we need that buzz. We need people to run to the Comic Cons to see these creatives, because when they go to see these creatives, they're there, we can feed off of that. And that's the prop that's missing.
Yeah, no, I think you do. It's funny because I feel like DC has started to do some of that, where they have these artists. Because when I was at C2E2, they had a panel there. You know what's funny? Like, they had a panel there. The panel room was small. It was too small for it. They should have had a bigger. I don't know why they gave them such a small panel. I don't know if they thought that maybe people weren't going to be interested in what DC was coming out with. There were people standing up around the room. The room was it was crazy, but they had their artists, and I think that DC's trying to, make their artists kind of like, and their writers the stars. I think that what's happening with them though is I think that a lot of their artists, a lot of their talent is overseas, and so they have to fly them in, and that costs them money.
Yeah, because overseas, because they pay them, it's cheaper.
It's a little cheaper, and I don't know if they're paying them less. They must be, but they have to fly them in if they want to do appearances, and I think that may be something that it's a cost. At C2E2, they didn't have a presence. DC didn't have a booth. Marvel didn't have a booth. They need to start having booths at these shows, especially the bigger shows. Maybe not at Steel City. Steel City is a pretty small show. It's not a big show. So maybe they're not there, but like
right now, who's riding that wave right now? Who's buzzing on social media is this guy who's doing
Brett
Dork.
Bean. Brett Bean.
Right.
Yep.
So
he was at C2E2.
Right. They need to be pushing that mofo out there to
Mhm.
draw excitement, right? They need to start going back to doing, portfolio reviews. They need to start going back and creating these buzzes around these shows, right? And I think that's what's missing. The excitement of that. It's outside of cosplay, gaming, and celebrities. Comics is an afterthought.
That's why Terrificon is such a good show. Terrificon will have Eric Larson. Terrificon will have Snyder. They will have all the comic book creators of even the past, like and I said Eric Larson, but like I said that, but they had Jim Lee there last year. They had Scotty Young. Like they will bring in those talents. So kudos to them. Because you can get signatures from Mark Bagley and like all the people that we grew up, reading and stuff like that. So that convention still does that. It's my favorite convention to go to. But yeah, the other conventions, they just don't seem to be able to do that, dude. And I think that's why they're losing a lot of traction when it comes to like coming to check it out and attendance. You know who Scotty Young's art reminds me of? Bill Watterson, Calvin and Hobbes.
Yeah.
That's the style that it reminds me of.
And if you're wondering who Brett Bean is and Dork, this is the guy.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Right. He's trending on social media. His books are selling out. This guy's fantastic, right? Here's an opportunity to make him a superstar, to create some excitement around conventions, create some lines, get people into these shows, right? And then let the artist Ellie feed off of that, right? And I think that's what you need. You need a draw that's outside of celebrities.
Yeah. Ralph makes a point here. The companies went away from the star writer artists because they hate that it's about them and not their characters and the books.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it is. You know what I mean? Like,
well, because they run the risk of having to pay more, right? And I think that's what it is. I would just say, yo, dude, here your books are selling. But they already have. I think they have in their contracts, right? You get a salary, but if your books reach this much, you'll get this percentage. If you get this much, you get this percentage, right?
Do they get some kind of
pay them,
kind of
bro?
royalty?
Pennies compared to what you're paying celebrities to do a super. You're paying Henry Cavill $20-30 million to do an hour-and-a-half movie. Pay the artist and stop acting up.
Look at what they paid Robert Downey Jr. The thing is, they feel like, and it's happened, right? Their movies have made $2 billion. Comic books aren't going to make them that much money. You know
but comics is the coal in the fire, right? And I think that's what it is. And I think
that's where they're getting all the stories from.
That's where it is,
Yeah.
right? Those are your scripts, right? This is the inspiration for the screenplay writers to convert it into film. You need that.
Yeah, I think what Marvel and DC messed up, man, is that they made so much movie doing these comic book movies, and they never promoted the comic book.
Right.
They never had just hand out the comic book at the end of the movie. Here,
the same way they create all of these popcorn novelty items with for like Ghostbusters. It should be the comics.
Yeah, just give the comics.
Buy the ticket to the movie, get the comic.
Yeah, you want to promote the medium, give them away.
Yeah,
so many people went to see these movies. Here's the comic book based on what that movie you just saw was. Read it. Get hooked on that stuff and buy more comics.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But they didn't.
And you don't have to do it. You don't have to do it for every show. You should be doing it for the first week of the release.
Yeah.
The first week of the movie release, a free comic for every ticket sale.
Yeah.
Boom.
Dude, they should have had exactly at the premiere nights or whatever. They should have had a comic book sitting at your chair right before you sat down.
Yeah.
Waiting for you.
Yes.
Sitting right there. So when you went, because a lot of these theaters now you can pick your seats, right?
Yeah.
And they don't fold up. They just kind of lean back. You saw the ones that we had. Put a comic book on that chair. So that when you come in, oh shoot, a comic book. Cool. You take it and you read it. It doesn't cost them anything.
Pennies compared to what they're investing in film, right?
Correct.
But if you want to get, and it's their way of protecting.
They don't care about the comics. That's what
I mean, and I think they need to do their job to keep the comic shops open, right? And because right now the comic shops are heavily reliant on D&D, and Pokemon and bobbleheads and all that.
Gathering and you know what I mean? Yeah.
And because that's what's helping them pay the bills.
And so what happens is they go away from us. because we're not going to make them the money. So they don't even give us a chance, indies, a chance at that point, because they're afraid that it's not going to pay them. It's not going to pay their bill. I'd love to give you a shot, but unfortunately, it's not going to sell here. I'm just not going to buy a comic. You know what I mean? Like, because they rely, like you said, on all the other things that they have to sell. We actually went into a comic book shop called Comics World. Renee, she was the owner of the shop. She ran the Pittsburgh Comic Con.
Oh, wow.
Nice,
that was a legit show.
That was a legit show.
Host. She took care of the artists.
Mm-hmm.
She was a big artist. Mm-hmm. She would have at the rooftop and penthouse of the hotel, she would have after parties for all the creators.
Wow, yeah.
And you go upstairs, they had a room that had a pool table, they had all these different rooms. And I remember hanging out with Michael Oming and everybody and having drinks, and we're up there, and it was awesome. They had music and all these different lounge rooms. It was all just for the creatives.
Yeah.
You know, they knew how to take care of you. That's
the other thing. That's what's missing too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Making you feel like a celebrity for a day.
Yeah.
You know, like that's gone. That's gone. That's gone.
I remember going upstairs. It was me and the Wolf. We went up there, and I'm sitting next to Angel Medina and Michael Oming, and we're drinking and we're talking and we're just shooting the breeze about comics and life. Mm-hmm. That's the best, right? And we're just some knuckleheads trying to break into the game, right? And but that convention promoter understood the value of taking care of the creatives.
She did.
That was the same show the year prior where we had breakfast and sat down and talked to Ghostbusters guy. What's his name?
Yeah,
Ernie Hudson. Ernie Hudson.
You got his name there too,
right?
She said he was a great guest. He was amazing. He was an amazing guest.
He was an amazing guest. I remember, walking in. I was like, "Hey," he's like, "Hey." I was like, "I know you." He's like, "I don't know you." And I was like, and that's how the conversation started. And he came over to the table, had his coffee and egg sandwich, and we were talking. And then we gave him a free comic. He took a picture with us. It was awesome, But that magic is gone.
I know, man.
I go to these conventions, and not even that, but also the fan base is different. Mm-hmm. You got people who are curious about Comic Cons that they think is a good outing for the family, but there's no intention of buying anything unless they see something that's now like a novelty item, not really comic related, right? So you have a lot of those families that go out there looking for novelty items.
Yeah.
You got people looking for the next Pokemon card, or they want a sword, or they want a Star Wars lightsaber, but they're not there for comics, right? Yeah. And so that's a big percentage of the crowd. Then you got cosplayers that don't buy anything.
Yeah, no. But you know what? I remember when we used to do Big Apple Comic Con, there was that guy that used to sell the swords in the back.
Yeah.
That's been a part of it, but they knew how to okay, if that was 10% of the convention, 90% was still comics.
Yes.
We'll give you a little space there for you guys to do your thing, because that's part of the pop culture. That's part of the culture, right? The lightsabers and the swords and all that other stuff. And that's cool. But now it's like that's become more.
But it was a different era, and shout out to the trendsetters. Shout out to the McFarlanes and the Silvestris and the Jim Lees and all those guys, because they created a movement, and they created new fans, and they created fanatics. And that excitement opened a door for guys like us, because what people don't understand is that when you have superstars, it gives those up and comers an opportunity, right, to shine, because people are looking for comics. When you don't have that, what is the excitement about walking into Artist Alley? I can go over here. There's all this stuff happening. I got Funko Pops. I got action figures. I got this. I got that. I got this. Why am I gonna go over there? It's just a bunch of guys trying to sell me their comic.
Yeah.
Right. Because the magic is gone.
But I think that what needs to happen is, I think that with these, if they ever are superstar, comic book artists, I think that they have to also be willing and want to give the guys coming behind them a chance to also come through the door.
Yeah.
They can't just get in and then close the door, be like, nah, you guys are too small. We're not dealing with you. Like those egos have to kind of like, they just can't be there.
Yeah, because I'm gonna do like Rakim. I came through the door. I said it before. I never let the mic magnetize me no more. No, I mean, I think it's one of George.
How much of this song are we gonna do? You going to Bix this weekend? Speaking of indie comics, no, not this weekend. Yeah, that's Brooklyn, right? We were talking about that, the Brooklyn Independent Comics.
Brooklyn, always funky fresh.
Yeah,
Brooklyn,
no, I won't be
dude,
there
the
this
house.
weekend. But go ahead, what were you gonna say?
No, you're right. I think it's like Brian Pulido. Like,
Brian Pulido's great.
that guy can never do any wrong. That guy's hustle is on a whole other level, right? And he is someone who always gives. He's a giver, right? He's a giver of knowledge. He's a giver of time, right? And he's
encouragement.
You know what I mean? He's a class act. He's a class act.
Great guy.
It's guys like that. You know what I'm saying? It's you know, I think it's when people are threatened by you. You know, they're like, nah, you're gonna take food off my table, and I gotta pay, you know, I gotta feed my kids, right? And I think that's the hard part. You know, it's one of those things. Is like, you know, I spend a lot of my time. Like, look, dude, I've had a hard time cracking this nut since I came back into comics. You know, but I get a lot of questions all the time. Right. So I've established credibility with people who listen to us on the podcast or watch my vlog, or have met me, that I get a lot of questions. So I spend a lot of time typing and sending and just like giving people information. Because I think, you know, knowledge is power. And if I have it to give, I'm gonna give it, you know, and I wish some of these superstars would do the same.
Yeah. No, it's true. They, you know, I think that they're so, it's like you said, right? They want to protect their I don't know, their money, whatever. Like, oh, if you get big, then what's going to happen to me? And it's like, nah, man, we should all be able to just eat. You know, like it doesn't hurt you to kind of like, hey, just the word of encouragement. Hey, check out this book. Just that alone. Just check out this book by a big name. You know, showing off like a smaller indie or whatever. Will do wonders for that indie. Now, whatever that indie does with that is up to them.
Yeah.
But at least they gave them that. They gave them that shout out.
Yeah.
That, okay, they're good. Check them out. You know what I mean? But not even that.
Not even that. I mean, yo, dude. Like there was, I'm not gonna blow up his spot, but there was a guy, fantastic illustrator, got a fantastic comic book. I was a fan. I went to go introduce myself. The guy had such a freaking ego. And I was like, yo, dude, why you acting up, bro? Like, because I think he was bucking up because I was opposite him, right? But I was a fan. I bought the book. I wanted him to sign it. I invited him on the show. Never came on, right? I was like, yo, got the cold shoulder. I said, really? You're going to be, I said, what's the matter with you? And I think that's the problem. You know what I mean? And it's, I don't get it. I don't get it, because at the end of the day, anybody who creates anything, you've been given a gift, right?
Yeah.
And we're expressing ourselves, right? And we're doing what we love to do. And there's plenty of time, there's plenty of space and room for everybody, right? This world is so damn big. When we think about it, like we complain about Kickstarters, and I'm like, you know, and then there's like, all our books. Well, you know, when you think about 100 people read your book, all right, there's billions of people on this damn planet. All right. So think about the potential. We get so fixated on the fact that we've only reached a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a percent, right? It's like it doesn't even hit the scale, the metric scale. So I think, you know, there's so much potential out there to go out there and keep hustling and trying to get to as many people as possible. Yeah. But we get discouraged. But then there's also people who just don't want to share the lane, the roadway with you. They want to block. It's almost like you're trying to pass and they keep blocking.
It's like, at this point, you're so far ahead, bro. What's the point? You know what I'm saying? He wants you to blow up the spot. Like, at this point, like, you're so far ahead, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
no, why are you acting
up? I'm not catching you right now. By the time I get to where you are, you should be further up ahead. Like, so what's
so much? This cat pissed me off so much that I didn't buy anything else from him
ever.
I was like, I was done. I was like, yo, dude, I extended myself. I let, you know, I don't leave my booth at conventions, right? I stay at my table all the time. I said, no, I got to meet this dude. I really love his work. I got to let him know, yo, dude, your stuff is fire. I love it. I want to buy it. Can you sign it? I even took a picture with that chump, right? And I'm like, yo, I ain't posting it. Right?
How long ago was this? Was this recently?
This was about a year, 2 years ago.
Really?
Yeah, out here in Texas. Yeah, and I was like, yo, really?
Damn.
Really? I said, that's how you gonna do? I was like, all right. I said, you're lucky I don't blow you up. But but that's the reality of it. Some people they let it go to their heads.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, come on,
And
man.
listen, I get it, man. Sometimes we'll be behind a table and you'll meet some kind of suspicious characters come up to the table and stuff like that. And maybe, you could say, all right, well, you know what? I don't want to. Maybe you fear for your safety or whatever the hell. But like, not when it's somebody who's having a conversation with you and is just telling you how impactful your artwork has been in their life, and like, and they genuinely give you a compliment. The least you could do is like, yo, dude, man, thanks a lot, man. You know what? You bought that book here. Have this book, man. Take it. Like, I don't know that that's going to cost you that much money. You know what I'm saying? Anything. Here, take a sketch, dude. Let me draw something for you real quick. Anything.
When you say that, right? So I shared this before when I was at the Puerto Rico Comic Con, right? There was a guy that came over. He's in the Marines, right? The military. He was on leave, right? He's getting ready to go back out. And but he didn't have any money. He was just there at the convention because he was enjoying it and whatever. And we were talking and we had a great conversation. And he's like, oh, no, I'm just here, because I'm supporting a friend, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you know what? I gave him the book. I gave him Forbidden, the graphic novel, right? I said, here. I said, you know what? Thank you for your service. I said, and thank you for everything that you do, and I appreciate you. He brought his family back the next day, and they bought all my books.
Yeah, dude.
You know what I mean? Yeah, because number one, I was just like listening to his stories. We were talking, we're chatting, and I enjoyed his time. But then when I realized that he was a veteran, I was like, dude, thank you so much. I appreciate what you're doing for us. And I gave him the book. I had no expectations. Next day, I'm over there. He comes with his family, and they bought every issue. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And he's like, this is the guy I was telling you about. And so I think that's what's missing. It's the humanity part.
People don't want to. They don't want to connect. The connection is gone. We're on this together as creators. There's more than enough to go around. If someone wants to be cagey and rude, that's on them. It's not you versus me. It's us versus the world. Yeah.
The world, Chico, and everything in it.
That's it, man.
That's the point. And I've always found, even like I told you about this one little girl who kept coming back. She wanted the Mandy Pandy, right? Oh, the Scary Airy book. Her mom was too busy buying what she wanted, and she kept pulling the little girl away. So then I gave the little girl a bookmark and a sticker for Scary Airy. And I gave it to her. I said, here you go. And the mom looked at me like she was going to cut my throat. And she's like, you really want this? She goes, yes, mom. And she was crying. And the mom went up buying it for her, right? But I gave it to the little girl because I saw how she kept looking, right? And it's like, it says, look, dude, at the end of the day, our job is to try to share stories with as many people as possible, right? Not to pass judgment, not to put shade, not to get, you know what I mean? It's just be yourself and give what you expect to receive, right? Treat others as you expect to be treated yourself, right? And I think it's the readers that keep you going. Don't alienate your base. And then, some people just don't got it. And if you can give it, right? It doesn't mean you have to do it all the time, but and I think that's the part that's missing. It's just the humanity. It's one of the reasons why I like pulled myself out of a lot of groups, because it got shady, and I'm like, and then you hear people, and then you see it on Twitter and you see it on Blue Sky, you see a lot of this hate rhetoric, and it's like, come on, it's comics, boy. What are you guys fighting about? I don't know. It's crazy. It's crazy to, I don't understand it, but I'm just saying, yo, be nice, man. Stop acting up.
Yeah, man. And going back to the convention talk, like I feel like if you're an artist, I mean, I'm watching this, but if you're one of these big time artists, be nice to your fans, man. Take some time out. They wait online for hours, some of these freaking fans.
Forever.
The least you can do is just, you can treat them with respect, and they adore you, dude. Like, they're there standing for hours. Now listen, if somebody's coming to your table and they have 100 books for you to sign because they want to put them on eBay, I get it. I understand the attitude. I get it. But if it's one person who comes over to the table, has one book, and just wants to talk to you for a second, maybe wants to take a pic, indulge them in that a little bit.
And you can't pick and choose, right? And I think, I told you I was at Cowtown Comic Con, and I was talking for a guy for over an hour, right? Because just wasn't getting any action at my table. So I was like, all right, whatever, we're just gonna hang out, right? And then sometimes when people see people at your table, they come over, but we're just chatting for over an hour. They didn't buy nothing. They didn't buy jack diddly squat. And I was like, dang, but you know what? I was like, whatever. And came back the next day with his girlfriend and bought a couple of things. And I'm like, all right, cool. Right. But he's like, yo, this guy is so cool. He said it because I took up all his time and he was so, and we had such a great conversation. You got to buy his stuff. Right. And they bought it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the stuff. It's like, you never know where it's going to come from. I think, it's like you just treat everybody with respect.
Yeah.
And be grateful. Be grateful that they showing interest in you and your work.
Absolutely, dude. They could be talking to any other artist on that freaking convention. It's sad because I get a lot of why do you have these people on your show? And it's like, because it's interesting, because they're creators work because they have something to share.
Yeah. It's one of the reasons why like I ghost people. Like I ghost negativity. Like I won't engage it. I don't have time for it. I don't want to know your opinion about somebody. I'd rather spend my time talking to people than talking about people. You know what I mean? That's where and I find that you don't have to agree with everybody, right? That's what's great about this world. But you got to respect people's views, right? Don't need to judge. They're coming from a perspective based on their life experience. You can't knock them for it, right? You're coming from a different perspective based on your life experience, right? And I think you just got to respect having the conversation and agreeing to disagree, right? And move on and have a drink, or play handball.
Lou's ghosting people.
Yeah,
I hear you, Lou. I hear you.
Deuces. I'm the king of that.
Who do we have on the show next week?
Let's see. Who do we have on next week?
Because we're booked. We're booked through.
Are we? I haven't even checked, bro.
June. I'm telling you, because I was looking. For those who maybe just joined us, May 26th. I'm launching a Kickstarter. Why not? So I'll have the pre-launch page soon. Just sign up for it and then be here at 8 p.m.
First, we have Dan Barlow on the show.
Oh, next week?
Yeah.
Nice. All right, Dan.
Good, Danny boy.
All right, cool.
Danny boy, the skies are smiling.
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah,
man. So next week it was a good topic. Got me a little got my blood flowing.
Let's go. Next week we'll have Dan. We'll have another topic for you guys. And
man.
Yeah, it was good to be back. I'm gonna send out these files to the printer for Wonder Duck. If you guys haven't done so yet, go to the comic book shops tomorrow. Pick up the 7th issue of Wonder Duck. Issue number 8 will be out next month, and that'll be the end of this arc. And we'll see what happens next year with Wonder Duck.
Yeah.
But brother.
And if you haven't done so already, man, sign up for the Duty Files coming this summer. Duty returns, and this is a whole new series of comedy and action and mystery and adventure and some noir. It's going to be fun. It's exciting. I can't wait. So sign up. When we reach 50 signups, then we will have a live cover reveal right here on Cast the Craze podcast. So we are 22 away from hitting that number, and it's exciting. So Duty's back. And then for all you cosmic adventurers out there, Cosmic Wars is on schedule to be shipped out next month. So more to come.
Sweet, bro. Sweet. Yeah. So we'll see everybody next week. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. Hit that like button, subscribe. Remember, Catch the Craze podcast, founded in 2005, the first and only independent comic book podcast in the game for indies by indies. When we grow, so does the independent community grows, and we appreciate every single one of you. So thank you all. With that said, I am Sam the Crazy Man Vera.
George the Jimo Medina.
And we are out.
It's just easy. It's not. Crazy. Acquiesce.
No, it's talking about my friend Acquiesce. Say my name, right?
This is what you were thinking? Oh, my.
He described me. He said, I'm the
What? Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze. craze. You are listening to Catch the Craze on It's Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze.
Candy girl.